Hello YouTube, this is Boba7772, and today I'm bringing you a new book review of Halo Primordium, which is a book in the Forerunner saga, the second part. So without further ado, let's get started. So pretty much, Halo Primordium is a sequel to Halo Cryptum, which is one of my favorite Halo books. So I had gotten Halo Cryptum like pretty much immediately when it came out, and I was like, oh sweet, this is an amazing book. So I was like waiting forever to get Primordium, and not that it wasn't an amazing book, but it kind of wasn't. It was kind of boring. Through a lot of the book, this is going to involve spoilers, by the way, which should be in the title of the video. Pretty much just takes place from Krypton takes place from Born Stellar Makes Eternal Lasting's point of view. So this book takes place from a human character from the first book named Chakas, his point of view. So the book starts out from this ship. It starts out in current time because they're trying to tie all of the Forerunner saga books into kind of like our current day and age, and by current day and age I mean like 2557 that year, and between like 2552 and 2557, because I think that these were all like discovered after Halo 3, before Halo 4. Krypton was a book that was called the Born Stellar Relation that they found on Onyx in universe, and then Primordium was this UNSC ship, which I forgot the name of, captured this Forerunner monitor type thing, which let me check the back of the book. Yeah. So they captured this kind of like Forerunner type thing, and he was like, I used to be this human called Chakas, and you're like, hey, I remember him from Cryptum. So it takes place from Chakas' point of view. So pretty much they hook him up to the ship to try to keep him online, and later in the book, big spoilers, I think, you find out that this is the monitor from Installation 04343 Guilty Spark, and that he had actually survived the events of Halo 3, heavily damaged. I'm not sure how he survived, but he was floating around. UNSC picked him up, hooked him up, and was like, tell us a story. So I am assuming that they were trying to find out the events that happened after Halo Cryptum. So he was like, okay, so at the time that they, so kind of spoilers for Halo Cryptum 2, so about the time in Halo Cryptum when, I think that his name was Faber, might have been somebody else, sent Born Stellar home. The ship was under attack or something, so he was like, these escape pods type things went down, and Chakas and Riser went down to one of the Halo installations. I think it was Installation 7, but I'm not sure. Which would be the largest of the installations. So pretty much Chakas awakes days later, and he finds this girl, and her name is Minerva, and she is a specific type of human. I forgot what all of them were called, but like they had these different tribes and whatnot, and she became Chakas' friend, and her and Chakas went into I guess their little community thing, and found Minerva's grandfather, which is Gimplar, and the three of them set out on a quest, and it was just boring. To be honest, this was an incredibly boring book, so boring, in fact, that at one point they walked and then walked, and Chuck is like, I've got to find Riser, and Minerva's like, there's this person in me that pretty much the librarian had put these people in Chakas, which he found out his was I forgot, it was the Didact's archenemy. You can like see him in the terminals for Halo 4, and I want to say the Master Builder, but I'm not exact. I don't think that that's it. Anyway, it was this huge human warlord that the Didact had defeated thousands and thousands of years back. So the librarian had imprinted Chakas with this guy, and had imprinted Riser with someone else, and blah blah blah. So Chakas is looking for Riser, and he keeps talking to this guy. Lord of Admirals. That was who it was. So Chakas keeps talking to Lord of Admirals, and that guy turned out to have a name, and I think it started with an F, but I forgot. It wasn't Faber. It was something else. And at one point, Gimplar and Chakas went into this place and they found that they were like doing testing on humans because at some points like the forerunners would come and take humans and they would disappear and not many people would come back. Gimplar was one of those people who came back, but this was so long ago people just called him crazy or whatnot. So they saw what they saw, and then Chakas and Gimplar rushed out and got Minerva, and they got in a boat and just started rowing and leaving. And then it was about at this point that I was like, this is way, way, way too boring. And this book actually took me about 2 years to finish. I literally just finished it like a week ago, like the last week of April. And I had started reading it on like my 10th grade year, and I'm about to, of high school, and I am about to graduate, or maybe it was my 11th grade year, and I am about to graduate my 12th grade year. So this has taken me a long, long time to read. Honestly, it's taken me around 2 years. So I finally did finish it, and how I finished it was eventually I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I went to the Wikipedia and I kind of read the some of the events that had happened, and then I skipped ahead a little bit to where Chakas had already found Riser. I believe that Gimplar died, and Chakas was arguing with the Lord of Admirals. And apparently I had missed all this stuff, like Gimplar's death and this extinct ape, I believe. I forgot what her name is, Mara or something. It was some Star Wars name, which if you know me or see my username, then you can obviously tell I'm a Star Wars fan. But that's how I knew who she was. But it's some like real actual ape that actually existed but is extinct in our time. I missed the ape, I missed Gimplar's death, yeah. I missed all this stuff. And him finding Riser. But then at this point, Riser and Minerva had left, and Chakas had to go do something, and it was at this point that the Forerunner books kind of can go over your head at some point, and can be difficult to understand unless you're like really, really, really like into every little detail. And I tried my hardest. I think I succeeded pretty well with Cryptum, and then with Primordium, I just like, since it took so long to finish and I read like a bunch of books in between Primordium and finishing and starting and finishing the book. It kind of went over my head some stuff. So what I believe happened is like the master builder is like, you've got to do this thing which is dangerous for you, but you have to do it in order to save humans. You've got to do it if you ever want to see Edry Primal or whatever the old version of Earth's name was. You've got to do it if you want to save Riser and Minerva. So he's like, so he goes and does something, and then he ends up getting mortally wounded. I read through this part, but it just went over my head, and most likely because I skipped a bunch of parts. But then, next thing you know, Born Stellar comes in, and it says a didact. You don't know which didact it is, but it's revealed that it's the Born Stellar didact, which I thought was really cool. There was a really, really neat quote that I liked from it. It's like, Chakas is like, Born Stellar? And then Born Stellar says something that I thought was really neat and sounded kind of poetic. It just all in all sounded cool. So you find out that Born Stellar helps him, and then pretty much he explains to Chakas that, hey, you're dying, you're going to die for sure, I'm going to save you, though, but you know, you're not going to be the same. And then he puts him in this kind of like, it's the Forerunner Oracle type thing. I just forgot what it's called. The monitor that guards the installation. So they put him in that, and you find out that he has 343 Guilty Spark. So Born Stellar is like, okay, we saved Riser and we saved Minerva, and I'm going to need you to help me, because what we're doing is we are going to take this Halo ring, and it's like headed toward a planet, so we've got to have the planet go in between the rings in order for us to survive. And they do it. I think there are some casualties. On this ring, the Primordium. Why the title is Primordium is that there is like a grave mind on this thing, and that's what the Primordium is a grave mind, which you find out after kind of. I think that there are hints of it in Cryptum. So they had like brought test subjects, and they were testing like the grave miner. They called it the Primordium. Some people thought that the Primordium was like the last Promethean, but it actually turned out to be the grave mine. At the end, Chakas in his new state, this new Forerunner machine state, and the Bornstellar Didact went in, and they talked to this Primordium and pretty much argued with him, and then and then I think that they left, and then it pretty much it chopped back to current time, and 343 Guilty Spark, and they did this throughout the whole book, like jump back to current time and then jump back to this actual story. But then you learn that it's 343 Guilty Spark. They pretty much confirm that, and then they throw the rest of the Oracle into space since he was causing trouble trying to hack into the main ship of the computer. As you know, 343 Guilty Spark had kind of gone rampant. And he was like, no, 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 I actually put myself on the computer. I've taken over the AI and I've taken over the ship. They were like, wait, are you going to kill us? And he's like, no, 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 I need you guys because I know where the librarian is. She's still alive, and I'm going to go find her, and she's going to help me find my friends Riser and Minerva. And then he takes off, and you're not really sure what happens. So overall, I'm kind of conflicting about this book. Cryptum was like a solid 5 out of 5, or I guess I'll start rating by 10. It was like just solid 10 out of 10. I thought that it was a spectacular book and was just really, really great. Primordium, I love the character 343 Guilty Spark in the game, but the character Chakas, I couldn't care for him. Like, he was going to die, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. Maybe we'll see some more Bornstellar. And he kind of did die, and we did see some Bornstellar, which I really liked. I did like the ending of the book best. Because Cryptum had gotten me really connected to Bornstellar. And that is one of the things that Primordium had failed to do, was get me attached to the main character, which was Chakas. But I kind of did feel for Chakas in the way that he was 343 Guilty Spark, and he was one of Bornstellar's kind of like handpicked people who Bornstellar actually liked and trusted and just liked in general. So I tried to have myself like Chakas, but it was really hard to do. I think that I liked the character of Minerva way more than Chakas, though she was even way more confusing for me. I kind of wish that this had been told in the point of view of Bornstellar still, or maybe the librarian, or the Didact even. But what's done is done. We figured out the story of 343 Guilty Spark. I'm hoping that they end up continuing his story, which I don't see why they wouldn't, because they kind of left it as a giant cliffhanger there. Well, current day, anyway, where 343 Guilty Spark is still alive, which is a major character from the game, so I see them continuing on with that story. It also has to do with the librarian, and now with Riser and Minerva. So I think that this book, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I think that more can come out of this book than, I get that it's part of the 3-part story of Cryptum, Primordium, and Silentium, but I think that they can do more out of this book with these characters than just have it as a setup for what all we have now, which is Silentium and the Halo games. And I do think that they will, and I think that they will do more with it, because 343 Guilty Spark is a popular character, and so is the librarian, and I do not see them getting rid of those characters so easily. But yeah, at the end he's like, I'm gonna go find the librarian, I'm gonna go find my friends Riser and Minerva, and they're in you guys, so I'm not gonna kill you guys, just knock you out, and then everything will be cool. So yeah, all in all, I would probably give this book like I don't even know, I'll do like 4 out of 10. It wasn't terrible, and I know that that's kind of a low rating, but it was not a book that was enjoyable for me. I hope that that this was a setup to something a lot more epic, because I do believe that they can do a lot more with this. But what they have done so far just it didn't cut it for me. So yeah, that's pretty much my review of Primordium. I will be doing more reviews of Halo books as I read and reread them. And Silent Team is next. So thank you for watching, and until next time, keep collecting. Bye.